During the Age of Revolutions, we observed that the entire world was affected by these revolutions. But where was Asia during this period? Well, Asia too was having epic revolutions. Today, I'm going to be talking about the three world-changing revolutions that occurred in Asia. We are going to begin with one of the most known revolutions that occurred in India, which was the Indian Sepoy Mutiny. The Indian Mutiny is known to be India's first war for independence. In the Indian Mutiny, the people revolted because of the British rule over India. The people of India did not like many traditions that the British introduced. But what really sparked the revolt was the new cartridges used for rifles in the army. To load the rifle, a soldier would have to bite the cartridge to load the rifle. Indian soldiers heard rumors that the cartridge's paper was lubricated with pig or cow fat. This was obviously a great offense to the Hindu and Muslim soldiers. In 1857, the soldiers revolted. They released Indian prisoners and killed Europeans. The revolters took over cities and continued fighting anyone who got in their way. The Sepoy uprising did not succeed. The loyal soldiers of Britain took back the cities being conquered by the uprisings. The remaining revolters would be caught and executed in inhuman ways. This day, however, would go on to inspire future successful uprisings in India. Now, let's talk about a pretty epic revolution, the Chinese Revolution. The Chinese Revolution that occurred from 1911 through 1912 continues to have an effect on China and its region. According to alphahistory.com, quote, "Today the People's Republic of China is one of the most powerful nations on earth. With its huge population, diverse economy worth around US 18 trillion per annum as of 2023, and the most imposing military force in Asia, China appears destined to become the world's permanent superpower." Quote, so how did China get to this position through revolutions? The people of China were tired of the empire and wished for the Qing dynasty to end. Soldiers, students, and civilians would meet in secret clubs to plan certain events. After much uprisings and revolts from all around the country, the time came when in 1912, where Puyi, also known as the Boy Emperor, was made to abdicate his throne after becoming the ruler at just 2 years old in 1908. This was the end to the Qing dynasty. The revolters were successful in stopping an empire-controlled country to one that is supported by presidency, not ruling or control. The Vietnam War began around the Cold War when the French began losing control over the Vietnam region, and the Chinese took advantage of this and took control over the Vietnamese region. The northern Vietnamese government sent Vietnam guerrillas to the south to spread their cause, which was communism. The Viet Cong would travel to villages where they spread their new political ideas and recruited or forcefully recruited soldiers into their armies. The National Liberation Front began, a movement that would, quote, overthrow the camouflaged colonial regime of the American imperialists. The Viet Cong set traps around the villages and trained locals into learning jungle warfare. Thus, the war began. American troops were sent into to prevent the downfall of southern Vietnam to communism. However, they found the enemy to be difficult to fight against. The U.S. used napalm, air support, and even psychological tricks against the Viet Cong guerrillas, but lost in the end. The U.S. withdrew from Vietnam, and communist forces ended the war by taking control of South Vietnam. The country was unified as the Socialist Republic of Vietnam the following year. So what do these three revolutions have in common? Besides the fact that they're all in Asia, I see these revolutions as absolutely epic events that shaped our world. After the Indian Revolution, British was more in control of India than ever before. However, the Indian Mutiny proved that there will always be a resistance to alien influence. The first fight for independence inspired future uprisings which led to the fleeing of the British. Now, India has freedom of religion, with many religion groups being extremely large. The Chinese Revolution affects us a lot more than others may think. The fact that the Qing dynasty could have had a chance to continue to this day. When China was pre-revolutionary, it had many flaws and was disunited. China was very vulnerable to attacks like from Russia or Britain. If it weren't for China changing its political power, China may not have been the big, powerful country we see and obtain products from. If it weren't for the revolution, China could have gone through a lot more difficult conflicts. The Vietnam War was not successful. The North Vietnamese ended up taking control over the South, which was why America fought in the first place, to prevent that. The war had a lot of negative effects. More than 58,000 US soldiers were killed and almost a double of that injured. The South Vietnamese were forced into harsh labor and re-education. The Vietnam War demonstrated the violent actions caused by belief over government and what was lost. Many people in the US heard the rumors about the war and began trusting the government. Many kids in Vietnam were born with disabilities due to the pesticides the US dropped on the forests. All these aftermaths help us understand human nature, what people are willing to do to overthrow powers or create or destroy ideas. These revolutions are some of the most popular revolutions that occurred in Asia, because without these revolutions, fights and revolts could have popped up sooner than later, which would have made the world we know today much different. Because those events happened, we now understand the consequences of revolutions, but we can also understand how they free many.